Hello YouTube, it's gopernoper, and today I'm making a video about the Kodak Retina Automatic 3. And sorry I've been very inactive for quite some time. I'm dealing with a lot of stuff that I'd rather not get into right now. And I've sort of been in a slump. I just couldn't think of anything for new videos or content to put out there. So anyways, let's get right into it. So first off, they picked this camera up for about 25 bucks from an antique mall, and this is not my latest addition to my Retina collection. I've got another really neat camera to show you in my next camera haul, but that won't be coming for quite some time. It's been really dry around here recently, but of course the camera comes with the fantastic leather case that these newer Retinas have. My 3C has a very similar case, and I absolutely love it. These cases are very nice. So, onto the camera. Here it is. So now, one of the first things you'll probably notice when you look at this thing is just how big this lens barrel is compared to the lens. And I really don't think it's too much of an issue, but I've heard some people actually complain about that. Another thing is that when you're looking to buy one of these, there's a couple things you have to check. First of all, what kind of meter cell does it have? Now this is the smaller meter, which means it's an older Retina Automatic 3. The larger meter reaches almost to here. So that'll help you determine the age a little bit. Next, when you fire the shutter, the lens doesn't work the way you would normally expect it to. Essentially what happens is when you wind the film, the aperture blades open up for some reason. So when you fire the shutter, what happens is, let me just set this appropriately. The blades close down really fast right before the shutter is released. And you have to check to make sure that that mechanism is not sticky, because if it is, your photos are going to be incredibly overexposed. Mine's working fine, thankfully, and I don't have to deal with the repairs for that. But anyways, let's get into the different features of the camera. Right here on the front is the knob for the focus ring. It is coupled to a rangefinder. Also, focusing scale is right on top. On the front is the Schneider Krejnok 45mm f2.8 lens. Of course, these Retinas all came with fantastic lenses on them. Over here is sort of unusual ASA selection dial. You have to manipulate this just right. You want to set it to a different ASA, but I believe you have to press this button and turn it. I haven't actually changed it. I can't get it to. Same with the DIN scale on the bottom. I call it DIN. Some people call it DIN. Here is your shutter speed selection, anything from 1/500th of a second to 1/30th of a second to bulb, which is of course shutter stays open as long as you can hold it. And behind that is the aperture ring. Also is the switch for automatic mode, which I'll get into later. Then our depth of field scale is right here on the front shroud. X-sync right here. Shutter release. And on the bottom there's just a little foot to hold it up. So, viewfinder and rangefinder windows. Meter cell comes with no cover, sadly. On top, I'm pretty sure this is the slot for the cable release, but I'm not totally sure. Right here's the frame counter release, which allows the frame counter to be changed. The frame counter is right there. This is the meter readout. Right here's the frame counter advance lever, which you use to set the frame counter. Viewfinder eyepiece, which I'll show you real quick. You can see the rangefinder spot in the middle. Probably can't see the parallax correcting lines, but they're there. Rewind knob, and around it is the film type reminder. This also lifts up to allow easy film loading. On the bottom, we have the rewind button, film advance, tripod socket. This is the screw socket for the case, but it can also actually be used as a tripod socket. And backdoor release, slide it over and push the button. Strap lugs on the side. But anyways, you use the camera up essentially like any other 35mm rangefinder. You load it the same way, you shoot it the same way. If you've been following my channel at all, you should be perfectly familiar with how to use a camera just like this. Basically, you load your film, wind it up, you set your shutter speed and aperture, and fire away. Well, you have to focus using the rangefinder patch, but you guys understand the general idea. Oh, cold shoe, forgot to mention that. But because this camera is a bit different in operation from others, I'll show you some of its distinctive features, like this right here, this frame counter advance. If you want to set the film in the frame counter, you have to press the button down and push the little knob across. And I believe you do so until it matches up with that diamond there. So, what do I think of this camera? I have not actually used it with film yet. I know I've had this for a while, but I just haven't been able to get around with it. There's nothing to shoot. And I'm actually out of film right now. I have to go buy some more. I just ordered some. It should be on its way. But I have to say, I really like this because it looks good. It's got some really solid construction. A decent range of shutter speeds and apertures. It's not bad, especially for the price. Automatic mode, I can't comment on that because basically you set the shutter speed and the camera selects the aperture. My meter cell is not working properly or it's dead. I do not like the location of the focus ring. It's on the front of the lens. I would have preferred a unit focusing lens instead of a front element focusing lens, but you're going to have to look somewhere else for that, like the Signet 40, which sadly I do not have. Otherwise, I really like the finish and quality construction on this camera. And an interesting side note, mine has actually been serviced. There's a service tag in here for Oak Brook, Illinois. Jeez. October of 1964. Wonder what it was serviced for. Oak Brook is quite a drive. I wonder how far this camera's traveled. Anyways, that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys next time.